What's good? What's good? You'll notice I'm not in a truck anymore. I left my other job and I'm actually focusing on I'm juggling jobs. Moral of the story, there was no traffic today and that was weird, but it is giving me an opportunity to make a video because I've been having this similar or same conversation with a lot of people, and I think it is time to mainstream the concept a little more. We always talk about the Matrix, but what does that mean outside of the movie? That's really cool and does a great job sort of introducing us to the concept. But I've also done a video reading some of a book called Simulation and Simulacra by Jean Baudrillard, a postmodern philosopher who discusses what we're going to talk about today, the hyperreality. What is the hyperreality? The Matrix. We have reached a point in our existence, and this has kind of happened many times. Everything cycles in the universe. That's why I love the Tao. And so, moral of the story, we've reached a point in our existence where everything is fake. And I don't mean that it's not real necessarily, but what I mean is that it no longer represents what it was intended to represent. Items no longer represent what they were intended to represent. And that is the transformation from simulation to simulacra. Simulacra, it means that something has been replicated so many times and changed a little bit in each replication that over time it no longer resembles what it was supposed to because of those little changes over time. And those little changes, the simulation process, recreating something, ultimately leads to a world where nothing resembles what it was originally meant to. And so I'm not necessarily talking like I'm out looking at trees and stuff. I'm talking about more of what we as humans create. Where do we even get our drive to create from? And this is where I like getting into the philosophical conversations of things like the Platonic forms and the Platonic realm of ideals. Plato was a philosopher who believed that there was this other world where like the perfect depiction of every item existed, the ideal. And what we do here in this realm is we're just constantly trying to recreate it. And a very simple example is like a chair. Somewhere in the other realm, there is the ideal chair. And we are now just trying to constantly recreate the chair. But you can apply that to anything, like a placeholder concept. So the chair is a placeholder, but the ideal of health is another example. And it's a great example to talk about in our current society because we live in the hyperreality where the ideal of health it has been inverted. Because we're talking about how obese women are beautiful and healthy, and beauty is subjective and in the eye of the beholder, but they're not healthy. And I'm not trying to shame anyone, but I'm just trying to use this as an example of the hyperreality. And why does this matter? Why is this important? Because it is connected to the spiritual war that we're going through. Talking about the unplugging of the Matrix, it involves us unplugging from the distractions of technology and of modernity and trying to get back to our roots of humanity and to live in alignment with the planet and with the universal harmony of things. We're not going to ever completely unplug. Who knows what the future holds? Maybe the grid does go down and our cell phones do go away. But like, I don't see a world without technology, but I do see a world where humans have integrated the use of technology in a healthy and balanced manner. I have not looked into the whole transhumanism thing that is going on right now. So I don't have a lot of thoughts on it, but on a macro level, I have thought about it a little bit because it is connected as well. I think that is kind of the inevitable evolution of humanity. But that's like thousands of years down the road. Part of what I feel like we lack in our construction of culture and society is a very forward-thinking mentality. We're very, very short-sighted in a lot of what we do. And if you look at our anthropological evolution, you can understand why. It has been very, very recent that we have had abundance, or that we've had awareness of abundance. That's not necessarily true. Okay. Because you can look at indigenous cultures and other cultures of the past that have learned how to live in alignment with the planet. But in terms of the introduction of technology and the evolution of the human experience, we've constantly kind of been chasing resources and chasing stability. But now with the technology that we have, and then with the technology that is being withheld from us by the elites, we truly are at a point where we can begin to plan for the future. And so the human experimenting that is going on without consent, that's not okay. The people who are trying to do the malevolent transhumanistic agendas, that's not okay. But over time, in thousands and thousands of years, our bodies are going to transform. There's even talk of how dimensions are evolving as well. So we live in the third density reality right now, but we're actually apparently elevating to a fifth density dimension. So who knows what that even looks like. It's so weird, like thinking about 30 to 60 years from now, because I'm still trying to climb out of this awakening hole that went deep. Oh my gosh, like I've been in so much psychological and physical and spiritual pain that the idea of even living for 30 more years has been depressing. But if some of this stuff does come to fruition and we do build the new earth and there really is an exit from the matrix, then there is hope. And I do want to participate in that. But we have a lot of work to do, And I know I talk about this hippy-dippy spiritual stuff, but I think my call is more to do with the politics and the sociology, which is why I really want to have conversations with leftists and with activists and social justice warriors, because I want to be part of that community and part of the change. But everything is racist and everything is sexist, and it's just part of the propaganda used to divide us, which is unfortunate. And we can even connect the social justice warriors to the Matrix and how social justice is now in the simulacrum stage of its life. You look at what some of these activists are doing and saying, and the hyperbole and the mental health issues that are clearly on display. It's not helpful. It's theatrical, and it actually is detrimental because it's pushing people away from the cause. And I'm talking about the extreme small percentage, but the loud small percentage of insane leftists that are doing this stuff. But unfortunately, they influence the whole sphere of the left. And then the other people on the left are too afraid to speak up about it, or the people who do are just labeled racist or alt-right, or it's nonsense. In entering the hyperreality, we lose nuance. I've talked about how in a lot of conversation, the loss of nuance has happened, and it has ruined any progress we could potentially make. I like civil rights activism. Civil rights is a really cool term. It's inclusive, and it doesn't have an air of what's the word? So when you think of social justice, you think of like retribution, justice, right? But when you think of rights, it's like this thing of these things that I'm entitled to because I am a sovereign and divine being. I don't want to attack anyone. I don't want to take anything from anyone. I just want to be left alone to live in my sovereignty. And so civil rights is cool. Social justice is not. Social justice is a weapon. It is a weapon of the elites to divide the population. And we need to get past this. Please, can we get past this? This is how we build the new earth. Together. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.